Hello everyone, welcome back to Hills and Hollers Homestead. Today, well, deer hunting was a bust again. I stayed out till about 11:30 and just wasn't nothing moving. I got pretty warm, got 52 degrees here today, so I wouldn't expect the deer to be moving a whole lot right now anyway. So maybe go back out this evening a little bit, maybe just sit here on the porch and watch them, because that's going to be my luck. So what I did the other morning is I went and got, we got a 14-foot dump trailer, and I went and got a full load of horse manure from a local stable. And he's got it mixed with sawdust and hay and everything from where he cleans out the stables. And he's got a pretty big place down there, and he's got a little arena and everything too. So I wanted to go ahead and get some of that for filling and topping off the raised beds for the winter. And that's what I did today. So it's pretty good stuff, good and steamy, and it's going to be a good growing medium. Now, you have a lot of folks will say, oh, you shouldn't use, or you can't use sawdust or this or that, or you shouldn't use straight manure and everything. Well, here's the thing about that. So sawdust in and of itself, I would agree with you. I would not use straight sawdust in my beds. But this is composting, actively composting with manure, urine, horse urine, and also with old hay. And there's some good, if you look here at the white and the gray that's on this, that's moldy. See that old hay in there? That's good moldy hay. And you might think that's a bad thing to have in a garden or in a soil, but that is actually really what you want to see as well, along with other stuff, because that mold or that fungus is just more biologics in your soil. So it's helping with the process. That'll show you that there's good moisture, good composting and everything like that. And that's fostering the growth of other bacteria and fungi and stuff. And having fungi, especially in a compost on top of your raised beds and stuff, that's what you want, because that's really going to continue to help break down everything over the winter. As this gets wet more, it'll again start producing heat again. It dried out a little bit because we moved it around and everything, and it's been hand shoveled into these beds. So as it's sitting here getting air, it's probably 8 to 12 inches thick right now, so it's still moist underneath. But it'll dry up a little bit with the wind blowing in the sun, and but as soon as it gets wet again, it'll start warming up again and creating compost. So this is, I got a pretty much a full trailer load, 14-foot dump trailer load for like $25. And this is stuff that I know where it came from. It's clean, it's local. $25 for probably close to 5 tons of it. And when we filled the raised beds last year, when we topped them off with mushroom compost from a local greenhouse. And of course, they got their mushroom compost from a commercial producer. And it was all right. It did fairly well for us, but it was $40 a scoop. And when I tell you a scoop, I'm talking a tractor scoop. Okay, so it wasn't a big amount. It wasn't like each scoop was a ton. So it got to be fairly expensive, because I think I ended up having to get 3 runs of 4 scoops. So I did three different trips and got 4 scoops with each trip. And that ended up topping off our beds pretty good. But with raised beds, and especially with the hugelkultur style that we did, and again, if you don't know what hugelkultur is, look it up. It's a layering process, almost. The other people call it lasagna gardening, where the base, the very bottom of it, is bare soil. We layer cardboard, and then rotting wood, logs, and branches and stuff like that. And then you put some compost and some straw, and just layer it like that up. And it helps take up a lot of space, so you're not like putting straight dirt, taking all that dirt to fill these raised beds up. And as it continues to break down, the wood and everything else continues to compost and break down, it provides nutrients and stuff to the raised beds. So this year I definitely didn't want to get back into that, and because it is, well, it's almost winter now, but like I said, it's November here and it's 52 degrees. So I just went and got a load of that, and I was able to get I was able to get that bed, this bed, these 2 beds, and the one big bed filled up, and just enough to put a little pile right there. So I need to still fill up the other bed over there, and then I've got the 2 potato beds to fill up, and then I've got the 2 corn beds over here, the old wooden corn beds, and we're actually going to move those for this year and put 2 more metal raised beds right there. So I'm going to have to go get another load, probably another 2 loads, to finish all this off. And once we do that, any that I have left over. I mean, for 25 bucks, and he's gonna fill my trailer up, I'm gonna get all that I can. I'll add it to my compost pile out there and mix it in and let it continue to compost, and that way I can top dress my my raised beds after we get everything planted this year, and that'll help put extra nitrogen and all the other good stuff in the soil and feed it from the top down. So this is a good time of year for us. I mean, it's hit and miss every year. We don't know what we're going to get weather-wise, and it looks like the next 7 to 10 days it's going to be probably high 40s to 50s in the day, a little cooler at night. Like there's only one day of rain coming up, and I think it's only like a 40% chance. So it's decent weather to get stuff done, and I've got a whole bunch of wood split there the other day, and the hydraulic piston started, or the hydraulic ram started leaking on the wood splitter, so I had to shut that down. And I've only got probably 15 minutes of splitting left, and I may just end up doing it by hand because I had to order parts, a new seal kit and everything for that hydraulic ram. More stuff. So if you don't want mechanical stuff to break down, don't use it. That's that's the best advice I've ever gotten. If you don't want it to break, don't use it. But that should finish us all. Well, I've got the one locust tree up there at the orchard I still need to get cut up and split, and that will finish us up for the year for firewood. Now, our furnace hasn't been on for more than 2 weeks. Now, we've had some warm days, but we've had some really cold days here too. Matter of fact, I got up this morning, there was snow on the ground. So, you know, we've had probably an average of about 44 degrees, 42, 44 degrees through the day, and 20s to 30s at night. And honest to goodness, I load that stove up, that wood stove, probably about 3 times a day, maybe 4, because at night I really pack it in there to let it burn overnight. And it's staying anywhere from 70 to 74 in the house, where with the furnace we only kept it at 68. And it was very comfortable. But wood heat's a different kind of heat. If you've never been in a home that's warmed by wood heat, oh my goodness, it just warms you to the bone. So, and as a matter of fact, it's hot in the house today. So I've let the fire go out. I loaded it up about, I want to say about 11:30 when I came in. I went and threw a couple more logs on it. And no, I take that back. I loaded it up before I left, and the wife threw 2 more logs on it after she took the kids to school, and it hasn't been anything on it since then. So here we are, late evening, or coming into like 4 o'clock here, and there's been nothing put on it for probably several hours. So I'll let it burn down. I'll go ahead and clean the stove out and then get it ready for this evening, because I'll light it back up, because it is starting to cool off now. We've got the sun's starting to come out. We got about a half-hour daylight left, it looks like. Then we got an hour daylight left, roughly, because by 5:30 it's dark here. So yeah, just good winter activity, or even late fall activity here, getting these residue beds covered up or filled in. I'm still debating whether I'm going to cover these with black plastic for the winter. I think it might be better to just let them go for the winter like they are, and let this continue to settle in there, because I want them to get wet. I want them to go through the freeze thaw process, and I want the sun and everything like that on them. So I'll probably just leave them as they are, and maybe sometime around March I'll cover them, and I'll soak them down real good in March, and let them cover them with black plastic and let them cook until into May, because we won't usually plant around here until probably usually after Memorial Day, because of the risk of frost and freeze here. The last couple of years we've had 2 incidences where it's snowed and froze in May and knocked the blooms off all the fruit trees and everything. And I mean, it really affected the apple and peaches and pears. Last year we didn't get it. It was a little earlier, but it wasn't as bad as it was a couple years before then. So I'll probably let these just set out and settle in for the winter. And like I said, in March I'll probably cover them up with black plastic. I'll soak them down real good with a hose, cover them up with plastic, and let them cook for the rest of the spring. Well, actually until planting season comes. So that's it. That's just a little activity today. Like I said, deer hunting was a bust this morning, so and that's weird, completely off this year. I don't know what's going on with that. But these are things that, you know, you take time, you take advantage of the weather, you get done when you can, and you get it all piled in, and you know, a lot of your work's done come spring, come time to plant, because all you got to do then is rake it around a little bit. And I've got one of those little cultivators. It's like, you guys have seen those little mantis tiller type things, a little cultivator. I've got, not the mantis kind, but I've got one I can lift it up in these beds and give it a good little run through to kind of mix this stuff up real good before we plant, and that'll help kind of aerate it and get everything mixed around again. But other than that, that's been my activity for the day. It's getting to be a little late in the evening, or going to be dark soon. So I think my day is mostly done. I'm getting stared at by my dogs. So this is the third time I've tried to do a video today. The first time I started, the gobbler started chasing the rooster, and they come over here fighting and squawking and squalling and making all kind of noise. And by the time I stopped that video and finally got them to shut up and stop, trying to kill each other, I started the next video, and the daggone guineas all come over and started heckling me. So I just gave it up and finished up the work that I was doing, and then decided I'd do this afterwards. But that's the work for the day. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4. They count this as 2, 5, 6 beds. And I shoveled all this in here because it's easier. And that's the thing too with your garden design. And see, I didn't have enough left to finish this, so I'm gonna have to get more. That's the thing with your garden design. If it wasn't for the playground here, the kids' playground, this bed would be much easier to access. But I had to shovel everything. I had to back the trailer back here and each shovel load in there, and that thing was probably a foot low. So there was a lot of shoveling to get that one filled up. And then these beds here, because these beds are left in the way here, I had to load everything from this side. So I hand loaded everything over to here and then transferred it over to here, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until this bed got full. And I'll have to do the same thing over here, because I don't want to try to bring the little Kubota around here with the bucket full and come up the bank here and try to get turned around and get even up. It just faster to do. Honestly, it'd be faster to do it by hand and a little less dangerous. God knows I don't need to be getting into anything that's going to tear me up anymore. So that's it. That's the activity for the day. Like I said, folks, this is something I can't urge people enough. I can't emphasize enough how important food security is, and to get stuff going yourself and doing everything that you can yourself to start growing your own food. Even if you start small and start, just doing a little part-time, that's the best thing in the world that you can do. When you're not dependent on a system, then when a system fails, the effect on you and your family is very little. So, that's why we're expanding. That's why at the end of November here, I am out here, and I'm shoveling a bunch of horse manure, compost, and everything in my raised beds, getting ready for growing season again. And I've got other beds I got to move, and I got 2 more beds I need to build. And I'm going to build like this version here. I want to build them like this, but they're going to be 4 foot wide by 12 feet long instead of 4 foot wide by 8 feet long. And I'm going to do a different design. I'm not going to put the center post or the posts in the corners like that. So I'm going to do something a little different. And it's a design I've seen on some other channels and stuff. So YouTube is a wealth of information out there, guys. And if you're ever considering looking at starting to do something like this for yourself, just get on YouTube and start looking. I mean, honest to goodness, there's so many ideas and so much information out there. There's how-to videos and everything. They'll give you a complete lumber list and all the supplies and everything that you need to get your stuff done. So that's it, man. We got to do it. We got to get ourselves taken care of, and we got to worry about ourselves and stop worrying about what the system puts on us, because if we're going to depend on that, they're going to fail. So that's it, guys. Have a great day. Do us a favor, give us a like, leave us a comment. There is a problem with the comments right now, is I can't see them. I don't know why. I've went through the troubleshooting process. I've done everything so far that I can find. I may end up having to contact YouTube because I have no idea why. But I get notified that there's comments, but I can't read the comments. So if you leave a comment, I greatly appreciate it. If I don't interact with you or acknowledge it, please understand I'm trying to get that resolved. Share these videos with your friends. Hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell icon to get notified when new videos are put out. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, and God bless you.